Oh, but this,
My son said the Stanford burrito.
yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the March 4th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome. This is a special night for us because of the Super Tuesday presidential nominations or whatever is happening tomorrow. We shifted to a Monday night meeting in lieu of a Tuesday night meeting. So that being said, polls open here tomorrow at 7 and will close at 8 p.m. So depending on whether you're Republican, Democrat, you have the right to vote for your presidential candidates. And it's not, we don't sort through the June primary is different, right?
Yeah.
So this is just a Super Tuesday, 16, 17 states or something are taking part in tomorrow. So the voting will be here. So stop by and cast your vote. We have no public hearings tonight. Any announcements from the board? Dwayne, anything?
I have nothing.
David?
I do not.
Gary?
Yes, follow up to the past few meetings, I was talking about one of our old home days, community members being in hospital. Judy's home now and out and about finally, recovering, but still over the hump. But so I just want to give a shout out to her to keep on recovering.
Okay, John, anything?
Nope.
And I am all set. You have anything that you need to announce?
Nope.
Okay. All right, additions or deletions to the agenda. I think we're clean there. We have no appointments tonight. Any public comments? Usually Glenn's the only one here.
He's the at-large.
Correspondence, we do have the financial reports, and we have a CMP tree work notice. And I believe that is their pruning guidelines, right, for the ensuing year.
Did we get that after the storm?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because it didn't
Mother
seem
Nature
to
did
be
some.
very effective during the storm, right?
do they give us notice of a certain area they're doing, or, right? No.
This just, you know,
It's like a blanket notice?
yeah, I mean, it's just a blanket.
Okay, just a blanket notice, yeah.
Selectmen's reports, you start with John, anything?
Nope.
Gary?
Yeah, on the old home days, just an update, how they're progressing. I've said it in the prior meetings, but there's no parade this year. They're concentrating more on the events Friday night and Saturday. They're introducing a car show this year on Saturday. The whole thing is going to be 50s theme. I was thinking about 50s theme, this is 70 years ago. More vendors, and of course fireworks on Saturday night. And they're still going at it, making their plans, and it's full board.
Okay. David, anything?
Yeah, real quick. I spent a considerable amount of time in Lake Arrowhead over the last week or so, and I'm gonna dare say to the Waterboro residents that more than half the houses up there do not have numbers on them. I've been on this tangent since I sat at this table, and I just want to get it out there again. Those few seconds that, you know, public safety has to look to spend extra time to find your house. Maybe folks ought to consider doing something about that. I mean, so, also I just want to touch on the winter plowing and the public works building that we're discussing and talking about. I'm gonna be right up front with people. I'm not a fan of the public works facility being built, but I know in my mind it's the right thing to do and it's the responsible thing to do based on what we've been handed as far as the cost of just the winter maintenance of our roads, which brings me to one more quick thing. Talked to a few people about what they think we pay for just plowing, and $200,000 to $300,000. And then when I tell them, it's like I put a big spotlight in their eyes and they're dumbfounded. So.
And what is that number, David?
So that number is just under 750. The exact number is like 742 and some change. That's for plowing, 742,000 that is. And then you add in the salt sand mix, so you're just under $1 million for plowing. And that's why the board is pushing, not pushing for, but we are advocating for a public works department to be expanded and a building. And again, it comes at a big cost, but it's the right thing and it's a responsible thing to do. That's all.
Thanks. Dwayne, anything?
We had 2 ZBA meetings in the last 2 weeks, with 2 applicants per meeting, but, one was approved, one wasn't. Takes that second meeting now to findings of the facts and a little more complicated as far as doing a day's work as far as the board goes, but we are missing one member on that ZBA board that if anybody's interested, we could use another member. Looks like Osprey Lake probably by the end of the week will be out. We'll have fishing before April 1st this year. And it doesn't look like there's an ice shack left there, so
That's a
very
plus.
good. Very good year.
Yeah.
Anything else, Dwayne?
That will do it.
Okay. I was at the planning board meeting the other night, just to remind everybody, we do need 2 new members of the planning board. So if anybody's interested in getting involved in the planning and development of the community, please reach out to one of the board members or submit your paperwork, and we'll make an appointment. So, other than that, swing it over to you, Matt.
Just a couple things. We talked about LD 646 as an update. That is the bill that was put in to fund the balance of the 44% needed for the property tax stabilization program. At this point, it looks like it's been recommended ought to pass, so that's what I'm reading. You guys have talked a little bit about it, but also to reemphasize on the Public Works Garage. Thus far, we've got your conceptual plans completed, the construction cost estimates, your estimates from Maine Community Bank, and it's just an estimate. Budget Committee has voted in support of that project, and not an exceed amount of $3.4 million. Pending is a decision from the board, maybe as close to possible for March 19th meeting, that if you want to ask voters in June or not. At that point, we can certainly move forward aggressively with the marketing immediately following, even though I know we've talked about it and pushed, trying to get the word out to the public, because that's going to be a challenge in itself. And obviously, if approved, the design build project will go out to bid. In your packet tonight, we'll talk about it a little bit, but we did update the list for the policies and the review. We've had our correspondence and communications with Maine Department of Labor, and all the action items that they addressed that we did receive, we'll dispute the penalty fine, which was $1,400. But out of that, everything's been corrected at this point. Most of it was in the training. But we fixed the chain link fencing that was broken at the public transfer station. And moving forward, if we have things that break down as far as the chain link fence, we need to just fix it immediately. We can't wait. We've already talked about tomorrow's voting, 7 a.m. here. Come in on this side of the building, and then you'll exit on the other side. And a reminder,
I have a cat to bring.
We do.
Yeah.
so we'll have a golf cart if you can't walk, but they can bring it back from the other side over to here. So we have that. And just a reminder, I most likely will be out on Wednesday and Thursday this week, but be around all day tomorrow.
Okay, anything else, Matt?
That's it. Yeah, I think that's good. March.
Yeah, let me just circle back. Representative Woodson actually submitted a bill for us, which was to be able to assess personal property tax for the solar farms that are under 5 megawatts. That actually passed and was going through the committee, but it's time stamped, or depending on whether or not a solar farm is online yet, we wouldn't be able to tax it. However, if they're not online yet, we will be able to tax the thing, so, but it's coming up to a vote in the House and the Senate, so.
That's awesome news.
So that's 7 million a solar farm or whatever, so. Okay, let's move on to new business. Discuss a vote on the town of Waterboro dependent life insurance. So Laura, I'll
Yeah, sure.
toss it over to you.
Okay. It's just like it sounds, it's very simple, dependent insurance that we don't currently offer. It wouldn't cost the town anything. It's totally optional to qualified employees that would like to add that to their policy. That's it. We
That's
just
it.
needed approval. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve that life insurance policy to the employees.
I'll second that.
Offer it to the employees.
Yes. Yep.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Discuss proposed municipal budget. I think we'll work through this maybe at the next meeting, and we have until what, to approve it?
April 2nd, I believe is when you need to vote.
Okay. So we will, so we'll have to vote no later than April 2nd, right?
Correct.
So we'll, unless anybody's got any questions for the budget committee, we did have a workshop earlier with them. So unless anybody has any questions or discussion of the proposed municipal budget, we'll move on to the next item. Discuss vote on Judi Carll's resignation from the Community Garden Committee.
I'll make a motion, we accept the resignation. Thank her for her time and commitment.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, opposed? All right. Discuss vote on the status of policies. So, Matt, what do you got?
So Laura helped me create the new template in the chart here, but basically in your packet, on the policies are the, on the left-hand side is the policies as identified that we have that were created by the board, some of them quite a few years ago. And then if you see the delete, those are the ones that some of them were obsolete. And then the note section, like the first two, accrual policy, annual budgeting and financial review, they're both covered by the charter. One of them is the budget process, and the other one is found in the charter, Article 19. So obviously those two there we propose to delete because the charter already covers them. And then applying payment to overdue taxes, you know, obviously keep its policy, but I can go through each one of them if you want, but as it says, basically the ones that would keep
Everybody
as
get the chat?
Yeah, I got it.
either keep them as administrative policies or potentially consider doing them as an ordinance. So Ospey Lake water level management policy versus, maybe suggestion would be to convert that to an ordinance versus a policy. The same with political signs on the Veterans Monument Policy.
Yep.
And also the snow plowing policy, which is basically that we're not responsible for mailboxes in the town right away. And then obviously the Ds, to delete those. And then the other column for administrative is to convert those to administrative daily operations policies.
Does anybody have any questions on that?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
I like it.
So I'd make a motion that we approve Matt's recommendations on the policies presented to us tonight.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, so some will be deleted,
Yep.
some will be flipped over to an ordinance, and some will be moved to daily operations policies, right? So, any questions?
Is this on the webpage for people to look at?
Yes, it is.
Thanks.
Okay?
And those,
Go ahead.
sorry, and those that are listed as ordinances, we can draft for you, because we'll need, obviously draft those and recreate those in an ordinance form for you to have your public hearing on.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'll have to have a public hearing for the ordinance, right?
Correct.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. What else we got?
Move that the minutes be accepted and approved for the February 20th meeting.
Okay,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Pending decisions, we got squared away, week's action list. Agenda items, I get two. We need to really discuss, vote, and support of the Public Works building. So we'll bring that to the agenda next week. And we probably need an executive session, 5:30.
I think
With
5:30 is fine.
Attorney Ben McCall. So, that's what I would have. You don't think that any of these, you're not gonna have any ordinances roughed out or whatever?
No, can we plan to have those to you for the first
Okay.
meeting in April?
So, let's take a few minutes on the agenda next week or in 2 weeks to just kind of go through the budget process, kind of read through them and whatever the case may be, and then we'll have a follow-on vote on the April 2nd, okay? Anything else?
Do you want to go down through that, but start that budget process on this next meeting and vote right on it, right down through? And
Well,
if we don't have time, then we can finish it on the 2nd,
We could do that.
and that way, whatever we get done is done, and
Yep.
it may not take quite so long on the 2nd to
Yep.
finish
Better,
up.
better be early than late.
Right.
All right.
The next week, excuse me, next meeting, you do have a public hearing, just reminding you. On the floodplain.
What's the public hearing about?
On the floodplain,
Oh,
and
yes.
you do have CEO Mike Gilpatrick coming for an appointment.
Okay. So we'll add those to the agenda. One other thing that, if you remember, when Mike Gilpatrick was here, he talked about the wastewater regulations that have just been passed. And he said the porta potties would, if it's more than 2 days, would have to have a permit. I see Senator Libby from Buxton or Standish has proposed an amendment to that thing that would require anything more than 6 months to have a permit. So, just keep
I
your-
would say, that was in your MMA
right,
newsletter, but it sounded like that had been pretty well worked out through committee and was gone out the window as far as that goes, as far as permitting these.
In the rationale that the land use regulators in the state have is that, well, what if somebody has they didn't want to put in a subsurface waste facility and they used a porta potty all summer for a cottage, right? Can you imagine somebody renting a cottage on the lake and saying, why are you gonna have to go to the porta potty?
Yeah, it's right there.
Right,
And if 8,000 sort of week.
so,
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if somebody had a cottage that was rented and the septic system didn't have a problem, and the camp was rented for the week,
Yeah.
right,
that is an
Yeah.
alternative to
Sure.
get a camp by for the couple weeks till they can get somebody in there to take care of it, because it's probably a 3-week turnaround at the minimum to get a septic in at this point, with getting the permits and.
but if it's more than 2 days, then we're gonna hire somebody to just give out permits, because
Yeah.
Mike doesn't have time for that.
But that doesn't sound like that's gonna happen, so.
Okay,
Just a quick update, I forgot about Ron Smith, or RHR, the auditors will be here Wednesday and Thursday this week, and work with Laura and Amber, but so we're full steam ahead on that, but I think we originally told you, we were hoping for March, but Fred came and met with us last week, and he's got everything reconciled for last year now.
That's good. So we're back up to
Well, we're up to June.
June.
Yep.
So, and I think she's run all the rest of the reports here. Amber has, and she's updated everything she can at this point, so hopefully it's seamless, but.
Yeah.
with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
No seconds.
All those in favor? Good night.